Okay guys, here we have a 2012 Ford F-250 6.7 liter. This car is a crank no start. The high pressure fuel pump had not been replaced. Had been replaced within the past year, and it's still a crank no start. So, I'm gonna go over this is I've seen a lot of videos where people replace the high pressure fuel pump and they still have an issue. I couldn't find a video on this proper repair that I'm going to show you. This is very common. Before that, I'll go over the system just to give you an idea on how the system works, and I'll show you what the solution is, or how we test the solution. So this car, high pressure fuel pump was replaced. Anytime you have something that has no fuel pressure, especially on the diesel, the first thing I would do is change the fuel filters. So when it came in, the fuel filters were changed. On the high pressure fuel pumps on these, you can remove there's a solenoid. I have an actual old high pressure pump here. So from my experience, when these pumps fail, if you remove the solenoid here held on with 2 bolts, you're gonna see metal shavings. If you see metal shavings, then most likely the pump's your problem. But you gotta get a fuel contamination kit, because now the metal shavings from the pump are all over your system, and they're causing, they're gonna cause you issues down the road. So if you get a fuel contamination kit, which will come with the rails, the injectors, and everything you need, the truck will start good. You're not gonna have any problems. Now, we found no metal shavings obviously in the high pressure pump. In the rails, there was no metal shavings anywhere really. But the truck was a crank no start. Now, in order for this truck to start, the fuel pressure needs to be at 5,000 psi, and at 5,000 the computer will kick on the fuel injectors, and then the truck will actually start. Well, in this case, fuel pressure would not exceed 1,800 psi. So if you've checked everything, if you know your fuel pressure regulator, your fuel pressure sensor, and your high pressure fuel pump, or everything's working good, and you still can't get your fuel pressure up, and your fuel filters are good, the next test that you have to do is you have to unplug all your injectors, every single one of them, and you have to remove the glow plugs. Now, when you remove glow plugs, if they break inside the cylinder head, you're in for quite a bit of work. So if you get the glow plugs that you can't remove, just leave them for the time being and continue on with the rest of them, whatever you can remove. So in this case, we got 2 out on this side, and we got 4 out on the other side. Once you have these out, I would recommend a small camera like this one. You can stick inside where you took out the glow plug. Oh, but you also have to make sure, like I said, the fuel injectors are unplugged as well. The glow plugs you might have to plug back in just to get the car to crank, because with all the glow plugs unplugged, the car is not going to crank. So when you plug them back in and the injectors are unplugged, you crank the car and you look at the glow plug holes where you took them out of. You sit and look to see if any fuel will spray out. If fuel will spray out, then that means the injector in that respective cylinder is leaking. So what's happening is, as the fuel pressure is building up, the injector is leaking it back out. And fuel pressure is never good enough to build up to 5,000, which the injectors are not going to come on, and the truck's not going to start. So I'll show you a demonstration on this. Musa, go ahead and crank. Look at that cylinder. Spraying fuel. The one next to it. One more time, Musa. The one next to it is good. This one, spraying. Okay, 1 second. Let me get to the other side. So we know we got one bad injector so far. We get to this side. Go ahead, Masan. Nothing coming out of this side. So there we go. We got a bad stuck open fuel injector. That's our problem. I hope this video helped. If it did, please like and subscribe.